Okay, this is Algebra 2 Review 4.3. So we'll go ahead and start with the first section, which says multiplying, dividing rational expressions. Simplify the result, assume all expressions are defined. So let's start with number 1, guys. So I have 48 x to the 5th, y to the 3rd, over y to the 4th, times x squared y over 6x cubed y squared. Alright, so remember the goal here, everything is in its own little factor bubble. So the goal here is to try to cancel stuff out. You can cancel stuff only on the top and the bottom, and it has to be the same thing. So let's look at the numerator. Are there any numbers in the numerator? No, just 48, right? So in the denominator there's a 6. So 48 divided by 6 is what? 8. So I'm going to put 8 in the top. In the x, let's combine our x's. So I have x to the 5th times x squared. That'll give you x to the, yep, and then I have y to the 4th. And that's all divided by, remember I already got rid of the 6, right? Because I did 48 divided by 6. So then you get x cubed, y to the 4 and 2 is, remember, when you multiply, you add the exponents. Alright, so now, remember, this is like there's 7 x's on the top, and there's 3 x's on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel. So when you divide, what do you do with the exponents?
Subtract.
You subtract, and you put it where the bigger one is. So 7 minus 3 is
4.
So you get x to the 4th on the top. And then here, 6 minus 4 is what? 2. And where's that going to go? Top or bottom? Bottom. So it's going to be y squared. And that's your final answer. Alright, so I'm skipping to number 3. I have 3 minus x times x minus 2 all over x times x plus 1. And then it's divided by x minus 3 over x. Remember, I always tell my kiddos, dividing fraction is easy as pi. Flip the second and multiply. So I'm going to flip the second fraction and I'm going to multiply. Now remember, all of these guys are in their own little factor bubble. Right? So this guy's in his factor bubble, this guy's in his factor bubble. So which ones can I cancel out immediately? The x. Does everybody see that? I can cancel out the x on the top and I can cancel out the x on the bottom. Can I cancel these guys out right now? No, I can't. Do you see how this x is negative and this x is positive? So I can't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a negative in the numerator. You could have pulled it on the denominator. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to pull out a negative in the numerator so I can change the sign of just this guy. So if I'm going to pull out a negative here, this 3 now becomes negative 3. This x now becomes positive x. And everything else stays the same because I'm just changing that factor bubble. So now look, are these factor bubbles the same? Even though they're written backwards, are they the same? Yes, because x is positive and your 3's are negative. So these guys will automatically cancel. So you get negative x minus 2 on the top and then x plus 1 on the bottom. So can I do anything else? Can I cancel out these x's? No. I always tell my kids, every time you do this, a puppy dies. It's not good. So you want to make sure they're in its own little factor bubble. It has to be the exact same sign in the factor bubble, the exact same term, or you cannot cancel. So this right here is your final answer.
Don't you have to do exclusions?
So the only part you have to do exclusions on are where, because see how it says assume all expressions are defined? So the only one that you have to do is solve. So like number 5, you see where it says part 5? That's where you have to solve. Good question. All right, let's go ahead and go to number 5. So number 5, I have x squared minus 4x minus 5 over x plus 5 divided by, now this guy's not a fraction, but I'm going to make him into a fraction. So I'm just going to put him over 1. So then I'm going to say dividing fractions is easy as pi, flip the second, and multiply. So now it's going to be 1 over this guy. Now remember, here I'm not trying to find a common denominator. That's only when you add or subtract. What I'm trying to do is just factor things out and cancel. So let's look at this numerator right here. This is a guess and check. So what are my factors of -5 that add up to -4? So let's see, I have 5 and -1. So 5 minus 1 is +4, so that doesn't work. So I have -5 and 1, so that would give me -4. That works. So I can split this as x minus 5, x plus 1. I can do that because the leading coefficient in front of x squared is 1. Alright, so next one, the 1 stays there, so he's good. Alright, x plus 5, I can't factor him. He's in his own little factor bubble. And then here, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do the factors of +5. So what are my factors of +5? So 5 and 1, when you add that you get 6. That's what we want. The leading coefficient is 1, so I can just guess and check. So x plus 5, x plus 1. Now everything is in its own little factor bubble. I'm going to see what can I cancel. So looking at here, what can I cancel? I can cancel the x plus 1s. Can I cancel these x plus 5s, even though they're like on opposite sides? No, one has to be on the numerator, one has to be on the denominator. So that's it. So in the numerator I have x minus 5, and on the denominator I have x plus 5 times x plus 5. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply it out. So x squared, when I FOIL, outer you get 5x, inner you get 5x, so that's 10x. And then last you get 5 times 5, which is 25. I just like, if it's a binomial, so you have a 2-term by 2-term, I like to FOIL it out and multiply it.